Hello, everybody.
Scrabblers.
Welcome to the 10th episode of NASPA Tonight.
That's exciting. I think it's the 11th.
11th? Okay, let's go with 11th. I think I forget to add one each time. It's tricky.
Yeah, you always say it's the 10th.
It's always
episode.
the 10th, every single time. The 10th annual.
Well, I think we should introduce ourselves.
Yes.
What do you say? What's your name?
My name is Jackson Smylie.
My name is Josh Greenway. We love Scrabble.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
right?
Every single week we love Scrabble.
And what's the show about?
This show is about all of your NASPA news in 25 minutes or less. Speaking of which,
Let's
time
start the
starts
clock.
now.
Fantastic. We've got a loaded agenda tonight. We have a special guest in. Do you know who our special guest is?
I think I remember. It's someone who's directing the North American Scrabble Championship in a couple weeks. It's Art Moore.
So we're like 10 days away, I think, from the start. So
Crazy.
you know this guy has got to be busy. And I think what we're going to do is let's talk about the question of the week.
Question of the week. This question of the week is, where should the 2019 Nationals be held? We all know 2018 Nationals is being held in Buffalo in 10 days, but where should the 2019 Nationals be held? So please write in the comments what city you want us to be in, what country you want us to be in, what continent even.
Absolutely. That's what we want to see is, where do you think the next Nationals should be held?
I would go with Vegas for sure. I'm always a fan of Vegas Nationals. I'll never turn that down. How about you, Josh?
I enjoy Vegas.
That's great.
All right, let's go. Here comes our special guest. It is none other than the one, the only Art Moore. Art, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Fantastic. We are super excited. We're going to be in Buffalo in like 10 days, right? Do I have my timing right?
10 days. Oh, my goodness. There's a lot to do in 10 days.
Have you started preparing for directing the North American Championship?
No, that's what the last minute is for. Preparing for NASC is a month-long process, obviously. And it's crunch time. There's a lot of activity going on with our contacts at the convention center, at the hotel, shoring up the list, last-minute requests. It's a lot to do. And this weekend we'll be stuffing player packets, which is a party all of itself. It's a lot to do. But it's a lot. The finished product is fantastic to watch. So I'm excited.
That's great. And I mean, really, my question was going to be, how busy are you? I'm sure the answer is very busy. When do you start preparations for the Nationals?
Preparation probably starts February, March is when we start, turning the key on the thing and start, putting ideas together and real conversation starts. Real things kick into gear when you get to May, and then June, July, I stop sleeping. I just and this year has been unique. I've had a lot of external obligations, so juggling preparation for Nationals has been quite a challenge. The whole championship committee has been a big part in making this happen. So I may stand up there and be the face of the event. I'm just one of many players.
Great. So do you miss playing at all?
Of course I do.
Really?
The first year I was on staff, and that was in Vegas. I looked around the room. I was like, I'm itching to play. It's not as bad, but I want to be in there. I want to slug it out for 31 rounds and go with the ups and downs to go with it. But at the same time, be able to make this happen for 414 people last count, to have those 31 rounds of excitement, I'm okay. But when I'm done here, I'm going back into it, and I'm going to go every year, every city, every country, every planet. So
hold on, wait a minute. Are you breaking news here? Like, when does this happen? When are you going to stop running Nationals?
Oh, no. Let's not put words into my mouth.
You just got started.
Yeah, no. This is still indefinite. As long as the assistant to the director still says it's okay to do this, and we're going to keep doing this.
Now, I find it interesting that you asked Art that question because it's the number one question I get whenever I do any directing.
Yeah.
And Jackson over here is also a NASPA director.
And I think everyone knows my answer to that question as well, which is that I always miss playing.
Yeah, my answer is not the same as your guys. I never miss it. I am right into whatever I'm doing. So I'm actually surprised by Art's answer because not only, and Art, you and I touched on this in an interview last year, but this is not standard directing what Art is doing. This is professional event management, right? Would you Art, would you agree that this is a whole different bag of cats, right?
Yeah. This is more organization than it is directing. Directing, in the sense that everyone's used to, is more the division leaders. They're taking the calls, they're shuttling people around, making sure things going. I'm in the command center. I'm looking ahead to, and it's the morning. I'm looking ahead to the afternoon session. I'm putting together my speech for the next morning. So I'm trying to stay a couple steps ahead so that we don't fall behind.
Right. I love that NASPA calls it the command center.
Command center.
Have you ever been in the command center?
That's been my dream since I was a little child. Fly the rocket.
All right. So look, Art, first of all, can people still register for NASC?
Registration is open until Thursday. As a matter of fact, two registrations came in today, so they're still trickling in.
I think it was Matt Graham, one of them, right?
Matt Graham was one of them. Yes, he's doing a comedy show, so it's good that he's actually going to be there in the room with us.
Right.
Yeah, you have until Thursday. After that, all bets are off if you can get in or not.
Okay. What can people look forward to at the North American Scrabble Championship? You're the face of this event. Give me or give someone out there who's watching who's not sure about coming. Maybe they're sitting on the fence. Why should they come to the NASC?
The NASC is it's part championship and it's part our annual conference. So you come for the games. There's a huge social component to the 5 days we're there as well. We have after-hour events. There's a lot of stuff going on in Buffalo. They have this great go-kart track on the other side of the border that I'm dying to get to. Again, Matt Graham's comedy shows going on. And if you love Scrabble, you can stay longer. There's a great tournament going on in Niagara on the other side of the border again, right after Nationals. Dan Stock has organized a half marathon before the events. There's a lot going on. It's Scrabble. It's not just Scrabble. It's a chance for us across the country who only see each other, only correspond with each other on Facebook. It's our chance to see each other again. It's family. It's a lot of fun. When I first started playing Scrabble, especially my first Nationals, I was so caught up in the competition that I missed part of it. The second time I played in 2012, I really got the hang of it, and I really enjoyed seeing people. And now, as I'm on staff, I try to get around and hug everyone I remember, and it's great. So, come for the Scrabble, stay for the social, and have a good time.
So you touched on something that I've always thought is really interesting, which is that the Nationals has always kind of ridden this line between competitive championship and inclusive, conference. So what is your opinion on how you've had to balance that and how you want to balance that in the future?
Well, there's been talk about, changing the format so, we can better decide who is the actual champion. That's tough to do. We could play 50 games, we could play 100 games if we really wanted to decide that. What we're looking here is find the best player with enough luck to get through 31 games. I would like to add more games, maybe. It's tough to do. It's tough on the staff who's taken 5 days off, 6 days off to make this happen.
Yeah.
We had playoffs before. That wasn't a fan favorite. What do we do? Come have fun.
What's your opinion? What's your opinion on playoffs versus non-playoffs?
Well, the idea of playoffs at the beginning, I did not like. Didn't like it at all. I thought it was ridiculous. But the more I thought about it, the more I watched it develop, the your point. Well, we cut off and decide, out of this group of 16, you've been the best so far. Now let's really take the gloves off and find out of those 16 who's really the best. I'm just one vote on the committee. Just because I like the idea doesn't mean it's happening. So everyone out there watching, don't panic. We're not going to playoffs next year.
So when does that get decided for nationals, whether you're going to do playoffs or not, or how many games you're going to do?
That goes to the advisory board, and they recommend to us how we go with it. We look at the surveys at the end of the event that everyone should fill out, find out what they think about it. If there's enough support for it, we'll look at it. Right now, it's just not there. So there's a misconception that if you're not in the playoffs, you're not playing for anything, and that's not true. You're still playing for position. You're still playing for your ratings points. Not everyone who shows up has a chance to make it to the playoffs. We should know that. Have fun, play Scrabble.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's always a vote every year. You're going to learn this. Jackson's going to be a new member of the advisory board coming up as soon as Nationals starts, and there is a vote every year, and it's actually been somewhat close. So it'll be interesting to see how things go as the face of the advisory board changes. And as you say, that's a recommendation. The championship committee is then responsible for putting that stuff in place. So regardless, I always believe playoffs, no playoffs, it's the Nationals. It's going to be a fantastic time, no matter what you do. And yeah, when we did playoffs before, it wasn't exactly a fan favorite, but I think I put that more down to communication than format, really. I think it could have probably been rolled out better, and there wouldn't have been quite the same level of pushback on it. So who knows what's going to happen. Proponents of playoffs would say easier to promote, easier for outsiders to understand. I'm a big, let's try to grow. I think everybody is try to grow the player pie, so to speak, get more people into the tent. So playoffs, maybe, who knows, could help with that. But I know there are a lot of people who don't believe in that. So we don't need to. We've probably spent enough time on that particular topic. Both of us are super excited to be coming.
Oh, yeah.
And while we've got you here, Art, what we want to do is, what we have here? We've never done this before on this show before.
What?
We have a special surprise guest.
Surprise guest.
Special surprise guest. So, Art, let's, I think you may have an idea of who's coming in here.
Two to the right, was it? Okay.
Yeah, I know what we're doing. Just give me a second. All right, here we go. Let's get rid of that because it's covering my face. Okay, we have a special surprise guest. It is none other than last year's 2017 North American Scrabble champion, Will Anderson. Welcome to the show, Will. How are you?
Hi, guys. Excited to be here. Huge fan of the show. Very, very excited.
That's fantastic. We don't have that many huge fans, but I feel like you've been with us since the first broadcast. We really appreciate it.
I try never to miss a show, and I am just pumping it up to as many people as I can, and I am just thrilled to be the extra secret surprise guest on today's show.
Great.
That's fantastic. Now, speaking of fans, I want to say Zev commented on Facebook, nice haircut, Jackson.
Oh, well, Zev is my #1 fan. He's been there since day one. Just like Will with our show. It's the same kind of show.
It's a beautiful haircut, I gotta say.
Oh, man. You'll see it in a couple weeks.
I got to say, Art, I think you and I are a little bit older than these guys. There's a certain point in a man's life where people stop complimenting you on the haircuts. Maybe they notice that you got a haircut, but they don't say nice haircut. They say, oh, did you get your haircut? Yeah, I got my haircut. And then they don't say anything after that. So that's just something that I've noticed in my life. So good for you.
Oh,
you can look forward to that one day, to nobody caring
Can't wait.
Whether you've had a haircut or not. Now, while we've got these two gentlemen here, you guys were together like just over a week ago at a very special event. I wanted to get Art to tell us a little bit about the event, and then I wanted to get Will to talk a little bit about his part in that event. So Art, can you start us off? Something was going on in Jacksonville, right?
Yes, something cool was going on in Jacksonville. Preston Kilgore, if you're out there, hey Preston, he brought it to my attention that a minor league baseball team was having they called it a Words with Fans night, where they're celebrating the game of Scrabble. And Will was coming out as a special guest, and he had a few activities there. Jacksonville is about 2 hours for me. I got on the horn with the Jumbo Shrimp and asked them, hey, I've got some Scrabble people here that would be interested. Can I piggyback on this and get a tournament in there? David Ratz, the representative of the Jumbo Shrimp, jumped all over this. He said, absolutely, space is yours, come get it. So I put together, and we had 14 people from around the state, out of Louisiana and Atlanta, come on in, and we played 11 games at the ballpark. All the entrants got tickets to both games, and we got to witness Will here do something special. So it was a fantastic time. They were great hosts, and of the tournaments I've directed, that one it meant a lot to me. Just seeing how everything came together, it was fantastic.
So Will, what was this special thing that you did?
Well, first of all, Will is a special guest wherever he goes, it appears. I like that he was a special event at this thing. He's a special surprise guest tonight. Will, tell us about your experience there.
Yeah, so just to piggyback on what Art was saying there, David Ratz, the promotional director of the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Jacksonville, by the way, named after Jackson Smylie as a city. He reached out to me via email earlier this year with an idea to bring me down for Scrabble night, which was ostensibly to commemorate Scrabble's, I think, 70th anniversary. I didn't even know that was a thing. But obviously I jumped all over that. I thought it was an amazing idea, amazing way just to, do my part to promote the game a little bit and just enjoy this really, quite frankly, amazing opportunity that I would, under no circumstances would I have the opportunity to throw a pitch out at a ball game or do anything like that. So I was very excited. I immediately said yes. And, the weekend arrived, and I had actually known in advance that Art had taken the initiative to set up that tournament that he talked to you about. Seeing Frank. Okay.
Keep going.
So that was really cool to have a bunch of NASPA players there. And let's just say I'm not going to be joining a professional baseball team anytime soon. The pitch that I threw was just a bit outside, but it did not hit the ground, so I consider that a success. And it was before that, because there was a significant rain delay. There was a little event that they had planned where I actually played 30 fans, some of which were NASPA players, such as Art. Art was one of my opponents. I played 30 fans at once in simultaneous games of Scrabble, which I was told was a Guinness record. So there's some footage of that's been bouncing around on Facebook and presumably other places. And that was grueling, surprisingly tiring, but a lot of fun. So, and as you can see, I'm wearing my swag that I got from the event here. This cool jersey. You can see it's got, the Scrabble letters on it here.
I was going to ask whether that was associated with the event, or you just wear all Scrabble board clothing since the win.
Well, I haven't taken it off since last week, if that's what you're asking. It
since
funky by now, but I don't think it's ever coming off. And I also have my hat that I was given here. Not sure that's going to go on great with the headset, but so this is roughly how I appeared. And you can see I really do look the part of a major league ball player right now. So there you have it.
Now, when you played the 30 opponents, did you play a full game?
I did not play any full games. The way exhibition worked was I just did 4 loops around the 30 boards that were set up. So we each got 4 turns to play in the game. And that was basically enough to, get everybody a few turns against me. And, it would have been, I'm not sure I would have lasted too much longer than that, honestly. My back was killing me because I'm kind of hunched over the boards and it's humid out. So
was there a winner or loser in those games, or it was just about playing?
Yeah, I think it was more just about the spectacle and just about playing. I would estimate, if I had to estimate, that I was winning in maybe anywhere between 25 and maybe 26 or 7 of the games. But I know for sure that, I'm not sure, I think maybe Art was ahead of me after 4, or maybe it was Tim Bodorf. One of those 2 was beating me. And then, even more impressive, one of the fans was actually beating me because she found a natural bingo of sicking, SICCING, nice. Which I was very, very impressed by. Oh, hold on. Got to get the lights back on in here.
So this answers the question of what did Will do with his Scrabble winnings?
There you go. Yes, certainly I can pay my electric bill now with those winnings. No, just kidding. I'm actually at an office, so I guess I wasn't moving.
Fantastic. 26 or 27 out of 30. That seems like a good percentage. Jackson here played a bunch of children a little while ago. He lost half his games. Is that right?
Approximately. But Will, I do share your troubles with backs. I found my back was absolutely killing me halfway through the game. You're running around all the way. Yeah, it was crazy. I had to go get some massage after. Good thing I work at a massage place.
19-year-old with a bad back. Now, Art, I've got a question for you. What were you thinking organizing an event like this within 3 weeks of nationals? What are you doing?
I'm having a good time. The key here was that I actually got to play in the event. And, when you can't play nationals, then you organize something nearby and do your best.
Are you playing in Niagara, Art?
No, I am not. I'm expecting the birth of my first grandchild. So once we pack up, I'm out the door.
That's amazing. That is Scrabble news right there. Yeah. That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, what happens anyway? I won't go into how do we know that's not going to happen right during nationals? Do you have someone to step in?
Yes, I'm handing the keys to Dan Stock if I get the call. So
all right, very good. Good to know. Dan is at home with his fingers crossed. Okay, now, Will, we had a couple of questions for you, and actually, I wanted to share something. One of the things that we've been doing on this show is interviewing a number of different players, and kind of over the course of the previous year, I was doing some Scrabble interviews over that time, and there's one moment in all of these interviews that is pretty much my favorite moment. It happened at last year's Nationals. It was on the end of the 4th day. So I just want to share that with everyone. It's like a 45-second clip here.
I know it's coming, yes.
And just while this is playing, no one's going to be able to hear you guys, but I'm just going to share this with everybody, then we'll come right back. I'm going to ask you one more question. What does the game of Scrabble in this community mean to you?
It means an incredible amount. Basically, I can trace the inflection point of my life getting considerably better and happier to the introduction of Scrabble. It's been just a total life changer. So many of my best friends I've met through Scrabble. It's just a wonderful community. It's one that I'm really proud to be a part of, and I have no plans to change that anytime soon. So
wonderful. I don't think we're going to do any better than that. Congratulations, Will. Awesome job.
Well played, Will. Congratulations.
That is literally like my favorite answer, and I can pretty much recite it. I can trace the inflection point of my life getting better due to the introduction of Scrabble. It's just Such a wonderful answer. And you obviously gave that at the end of the fourth day when you were crowned the North American Scrabble Championship. Here's the real question. 2018, do you think you're going to be able to defend your title here?
Yes, I think there's an 100% chance that I will win again and that I will be named the champion in 2018. Then just lock it up. There are no competitors that I'm afraid of that could possibly stand in my way. No, obviously, I think the only person in the last maybe 25 years or so to have won back-to-back nationals is Nigel Richards. So obviously, you know, there's a guy who does things like win tournaments in the French language. So, you know, he's the only one that's won back-to-back. He's the only one that wins, you know, can win French. So I think it's a bit much for me to really expect that I could win again. It's possible. I mean, it happened last year, but I'm really not going into it with any goal other than the one I had last year, which is to play as best I can and to have an amazing time at my favorite event of each year at this, you know, the Scrabble calendar. So, you know, if I had to estimate how likely it is I am to win, I would say it's roughly as likely as last year, which I would have considered to be something like between 10 and 15%. You know, that would be my odds that I'd give myself. So that's not a great bet to repeat, but I'm really, once the tournament starts, I'm not going to be thinking about that. I'm just going to be taking it game by game, and I always have an awesome time, even when I don't win, which is usually so.
Now, I think that's interesting to break it down to a percentage chance. What do you think? You've narrowed it down for yourself to 10 to 15%. What are the chances of Jackson Smylie winning the championship? What would you give that?
I would say he's probably got the other 90 to 85% pretty much locked up in the bag. Just on haircut alone, I'm not even going to want to play my game. I'm going to be looking at that sweet haircut and wondering, how can I get something like that? And by the way, in the clip that you showed, I saw that somebody had put some piece of paper on my head. So that's kind of cool that I can be known for such interesting, you know, headgear as this cool hat and a piece of paper. So, yeah. But Jackson's definitely, I mean, Jackson's making serious noise this year. So would anybody be surprised if he were at the top, at, you know, when all is said and done? I doubt it.
So, Will, what I'm wondering, though, is how hard are you preparing this year versus last year?
I will say that I've spent a large amount of my prep time over the course of this year on learning the Collins Dictionary. So I'm curious to see whether I've kind of poisoned my brain, you know, with my ability to play TWL. In my casual games with friends or on ISC or any other area, I still feel like I can mostly keep the lexica separated, but when the lights go on, who knows what will happen. So I think there's a possibility that I might make a mistake or two that I may not have last year because I've kind of, you know, I'm going to be playing Niagara Falls in the Collins division after Nationals is completed. So I wanted to kind of get a jump start on learning that dictionary as well. So I think I can do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of slippage in that area. So, you know, we'll see how it goes.
Now, you said last year in that interview that anybody who focuses, or the more you focus on the process of I'm going to be the winner, instead of focusing on individual games, the less likely you are to win. So it certainly sounds like you're following that advice. Jackson, is that advice that you're following?
Oh, absolutely.
Or you're just planning to run the table?
No, you have to think about each individual game and just focus on the process and not the outcome. But it's hard to do that, as I assume, Will, you can attest to. It's very hard to let go of the outcome.
Definitely, it can be impossible. I mean, we're all human beings after all. So if you lose a difficult game, it's very hard to stop that from bleeding into the next game and so on. But I think as you play Scrabble long enough, you start to potentially get a little bit better at handling those moments and having that focus on the process as opposed to the results. So it'll be interesting also just to see. I'm not sure I don't feel too much pressure at nationals, but I would assume that I will feel less now than ever before, having actually, wrapped one up. But we'll see if once the games start, maybe I'll just forget about that and it'll just be a tournament that I'm doing my best to win. So it'll just be interesting all around to see how it breaks down.
Well, listen, we want to thank both of you guys for answering these questions on these sort of interview style questions, right? These were interviews. Yeah. Does that make sense? So what we want to do now is we want to talk about tournament talk. This is one of our regular features. I don't think it's not going to work. Oh, I don't think so. All right, we're going to just go to this shot here. It doesn't say tournament talk. Normally it says that at the bottom of the screen. But it was an interesting week this past week. We made some picks. Who was playing Scrabble this week? Now, Will, were you playing Scrabble this weekend? Because there was Scrabble going on this past Sunday in Manhattan, right?
Yes, I would have liked to, but I was not able to make that tournament. So unfortunately, I was not at the Manhattan tournament, even though I was somewhat nearby. But I was aware that it happened, and I think, if I remember correctly, I think that Joel Sherman went absolutely ballistic. And didn't one of you guys pick him? I think
someone,
one of the two.
I in fact picked Joel, which is my sole correct pick this week.
Now, and I went with Cesar. Cesar came up a disappointing second. I was really looking for him to win. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Cesar comes through in the Nationals. And we know that Art was not playing this past weekend because he got his one chance in Jacksonville, and then he wasn't allowed to do anything else other than work on Nationals. So what was the other tournament that we covered there,
So
Jackson?
we had two other tournaments. We had Los Angeles TWL and Los Angeles Collins. And Josh picked correctly for both divisions.
Unbelievable. Those are my first two right answers.
Wins are so exciting.
Wow.
Josh correctly picked Avery to win the TWL Lexicon, and he also correctly picked Conrad to win Collins. I picked Jesse Day, who came 5th out of 6 in Collins.
Bad day for Jesse. But my boys, Avery and Conrad, came through. I think with your pick of Joel, you're up to like 4 correct guesses.
Yeah, 4 to 2.
And these are my first 2 ever. So I'm slowly
bringing it back,
trying to catch up. Now, here's a weird thing is there's a bunch of Scrabble going on between now and Nationals, but it's like all little tiny events.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that on the calendar? Maybe not.
Typically, in the past, I will prep for Nationals by doing the Albany tournament, Annette Tedesco's Albany tournament, which is a good while before. But I'm sure that most directors are not eager to put a huge, exhausting event on the calendar right before Nationals, just because no one's going to want to do a tournament and get kind of run down on energy right before the big enchilada. So
there is one exception to that rule, which is Joey Krafchick, who's running the Dallas Match Play tournament this weekend.
Yes.
So apparently
no
Texans, Texas players are immune to this Scrabble fatigue you speak of. I don't know what is in the water down there, but they figured it out. So they're going to play at most 33 games throughout the weekend, which would be pretty crazy with Nationals coming
amazing
a few days later. And we've already picked our guesses for that. Josh.
So let these guys decide between these two, between our 2 picks, because I don't think we have the bracket up anymore.
We don't, yeah. So Josh picked Joey the K to win, Joey Krafchick.
Joey, my boy.
And I picked Ori to win. So in the field, there's Joey Krafchick, Ori Swift, Daryl Day, Sid Morale, and then It's a
hold on.
bracket.
I
Oh, you can
found
get
it.
You
I
can
found
get
it. Here, just a
Let's
sec.
put the bracket up.
There's the bracket. Oh, you can't see that bracket. It's too small. Can you guys see that?
Oh, I can. Well, I can, but
Yes, you got
Okay.
Ori, Chris Schneider, Daryl Day, Jim Berlant, Paul Holzer, Sid Morale, Mike Early, and Joey Kraftic. So once again, Josh picked Joey the K, and I picked Ori Swift. So
Who do you guys
who
like?
do you think?
I will be contrarian. I'll go with Sid. I think Sid could do some damage here. He's got a
been cleaning
good
up.
defensive style against that might play well against some of these players. So I'll go Sid Murali. That'll make me look clever if that happens.
Well,
And Art, what do you think?
I was going with El Cid also. I
Oh,
like
sorry,
him.
Art.
Yeah, that's okay. we're riding this horse together.
All right. Well, we'll see who wins
that,
next
yeah.
week. Very quick shout out to everybody who has a Scrabble birthday this week. I'm going to read through the names. It's a long list.
Oh.
There are more and more people getting these Scrabble shout outs. If you want a Scrabble shout out for your birthday, make friends with me on Facebook. But Tim O'Hara Jr., Adam Siegel, Carol Denton, Scott Garner, Elspeth Abade, Annie M., John Stardom, Chris Koenig, Kaya, Alice Ching Chu, Gavin Thompson, and Mitchell Brook. Happy birthday from NASPA Tonight. We appreciate it if any of you guys are watching. See, there you go.
Anytime.
Chris
We got
Koenig
Chris
just joined as soon as we tagged him in the comments. That is a secret strategy to attracting new viewers, is wishing them a happy birthday.
And next week is going to be the last
Yes.
episode of NASPA Tonight before Nationals, and we're going to have a pretty special episode. We're going to have a lot of the Division I contenders calling in. We're going to do a little NASC prep episode. We're going to hopefully get some calls from some past champions, future champions. It's going to be good. So tune in next week. It's probably going to be 9 p.m. next week that we're going to do this. It's all going to be about the NASC.
It's going to be
It's go
pick
time.
the winner
Pick the winner.
at
yeah.
NASC. It's going to be, I think, 2 days before Art gets to the venue and starts setting everything up. 3 days before most of the players get there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an exciting time. The field is going to be set. And if you're a contender for the 2018 North American Scrabble Championship, hint, hint, Will, you can call in next week. Just get in touch with Jackson or I, and we'll send you the details of how to do that. I also want to say we'll be live from the floor of the North American Scrabble Championship all week during the Nationals, from the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. At the end of each full day of play, we'll be doing a full episode of NASPA Tonight. And what else do we have to promote? There's still time to get into that
Yeah.
NASC. Let's drive
Still register.
that
Thursday is the last day.
414 up a little bit. Let's make Art run around because you're making the field odd. And and there's probably still time to register for Niagara as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely.
This is a great time. I was going to say to be alive, but it's
be
a
a
great
Scrabble
time to
player.
be playing
Oh,
Scrabble.
man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best time of the year. So once again, thank you very much to Will Anderson and Art Moore for coming in for the interviews and for winning nationals and organizing nationals. We can't do without you.
It's fantastic. We really appreciate it. Did you realize Art was the very first guest, the very first guest on the very first NASPA Tonight?
Really, I had no idea.
I bet you Art didn't even
Amazing.
know that.
I didn't know that either.
What an honor.
That's why we call it trivia. All right, boys. Thanks so much. We really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for watching, for commenting, and just for loving Scrabble. And let's play more Scrabble.
We'll see you in Buffalo.
Good night,
All
everyone.
right. Good night, everybody.